to roll. Welcome to the Hank Cisco Show, ladies and gentlemen. Don't touch that dial. Ladies and gentlemen, the sheriff just came to town. We have a new sheriff in Montgomery County. Here she is. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor for me to, I met her, I've known her, I read about her. She's the chief of police in White Marsh, and I read about her, the good work she does and all, but I never really met her formally, okay? So at the police memorial last week, I went up and I said, hi, and she said, oh, Hank Cisco. So she knew me. Now I know her. So she's on my show. Welcome, Sheriff. And all right.
Thank you for having me.
So we have a lot in common. You went from police work to the courthouse, which means it's a little politics there.
Right.
So I can give you a little bit of advice. You got to learn how to bob and weave. See, being a policeman, it's one thing, and then a little bit in the courthouse, it's a whole different ball, a different kind of hunting, So.
I'm sure
So
I'll
just
learn.
a little word of advice. And before you leave, I'm going to give you my words of wisdom, And I know Stan Husky and Gordon Glantz, they have this on their desk, the newspaper mag, when they want to use a one-liner or anything. But, watch that guy that's patting you on the back. He's looking for a soft spot to stick the knife in. So keep bobbing and weaving. But let me tell you, how many years did you put on the police department?
34 total.
All right. How did you start? First, let's start with there. Are you married?
Yes, I am married.
All right. Now, you have children?
I have 3 children.
And what's their names?
I have a daughter, Mary Marguerite, who is graduating from LaSalle University this Sunday.
Where?
LaSalle University.
No kidding.
Yeah. So Mary Mark's a senior. She's with a degree in elementary and special ed.
God, and she teaches special ed.
Yeah,
That's such
God
a need
bless
for
her.
that today.
Oh, my God.
That's great.
And she's so
And how about your husband?
My husband is Jim Bear. My husband works in emergency management at LaSalle University.
What is it?
Emergency management at LaSalle University.
Okay.
He's been a volunteer fireman almost all his life, since he was 18. So
I
we're
only
both.
met him. And another thing, I want to meet your new chief, the chief that took your place. Okay.
Mike Beatty.
What's his name?
Michael Beatty,
I must
and he's
know him,
presently at the FBI National Academy.
He's there
Tending.
now?
He's there right now.
Oh, I want him to come to the Monjuni. I have a Monjuni. Talking about Monjuni, here's the front page of Times Herald. I have some active and retired police officers. Here's 2 of my good friends right here. Is Police Commissioner Neal from Philadelphia and Fire Commissioner Joe Rizzo. Joe Rizzo, and we were there. And so we have a little Monjuni, bunch of guys, retired and active and all. No agenda. We just have a good time.
I'm sure Mike would be honored to come, or one of his lieutenants.
So I want to meet the new, and I'll have him on my show so people get to know him, because my show is handled as Verizon 45 and Comcast 28. So it's White Marsh, get it and all.
Oh, good.
Now, we know about your family. Now, and what dropped the seed to say, I want to be a police officer? How did you start? What'd you do? I was a safety patrol, Rittenhouse Junior High School. All right, come on, fast, stop, go,
Yeah.
Were you ever a safety officer in the school?
No, I wasn't.
No?
As a matter of fact, no. I actually attended St. Philip Neri grade school in Lafayette Hill. I went to
What school did you go to?
I went to Archbishop Kennedy High School.
Oh, Archbishop.
Archbishop Kennedy in the 70s.
Yeah, that was Bishop.
Yeah. And then I
Kenrick,
went to
rival.
Right, yeah, big rivals.
Right.
We were big rivals, yes.
I know. I used to go to the.
We're old enough to remember that. The big Thanksgiving Day football game that was Kennedy and Kenrick. Then I went to Montgomery County Community College, and
I'm a graduate of that too.
that's where. Remember, I told you taught me there in the 70s.
Yeah.
You were doing a course in juvenile crime or justice.
That, and psychology. Yeah, and I told everybody,
psychology.
if you want to be a policeman, you want to get to know the people, okay, and learn how to bob and weave. Don't be just yes, no. Same thing with a policeman. He stops somebody for a car. May I see your car? Let me see. You can be polite. You don't have to give me your car. Or anything. Why do that? I was, when I was teaching a little bit at the police academy, state police, bob and weave. You want to be tough. There's time to be tough. And it's time you got to be nice with people. All the time.
Got to be able to negotiate.
Right. So you decided to become what, dispatcher or something?
Right out of college. I graduated at June of '76 from community college with an associate's degree. And I was hired first by Montgomery County. I started a week after I graduated. Montgomery County Radio Room.
Chief Brady, great guy.
No, actually the radio room, Montgomery County Communications Center for all of the county.
Oh, I thought it was.
No, but I know Rich. He's a great guy. He's a great guy.
We had to go when I was a county detective.
Wonderful mentor to me.
What?
Great mentor.
Oh, when I was a county detective, we had to go to Tennessee to pick up a prisoner. You know, he was a great guy.
He is a great guy.
And the guy didn't escape either. We brought him back safe and sound. So
anyway, I started 6 months later. I was down at White Marsh as a dispatcher, and I was a dispatcher for just about 3 years.
Who was the chief then when you first started?
Ken Blowett, Chief Ken Blowett. Remember?
Yeah, nice guy. Yeah,
wonderful guy. Yeah. So I started as a dispatcher in 1980. Went to the police academy, earned the right to go to the police academy, and started as a patrolman.
Good.
I was in patrol for about 8 years, and then I was assigned to the traffic accident investigative unit. Traffic safety.
You know, you were a policeman when police women were not really accepted. Like
no,
not
weren't.
that they accepted, they didn't like them or anything, but they felt that they should be home. I want to protect the wife or the lady. We protect the lady. That's what grow up, help, right?
Right. A lot of resistance.
So it took a little time to.
You know what? It was interesting. I was one of the first. I don't know where we all fall in line in Montgomery County, but one of the first 6 in Montgomery County. And actually, I remember Terry Tuzula from Upper Merion was the first female police officer because she was ahead of me in the police academy. I always remember she kind of set the pace for us. So I guess after that, I was one of the first 6. And there was you look back and it was hesitation, a lot of resentment from people. That was predominantly a male profession at that time. There was an issue of.
I myself, I was a policeman. I said, I don't know if I want a woman. She's going to the next thing, could she back me up or something? But it's working out. It's education. Education removes fear. Okay.
Yeah. And it was always back then. You had to be this big, broly. This image of a policeman was slightly different. But along I came, and I'm 6 foot. Yeah. I mean, so I kind of wasn't this little person.
It's like the state police years ago. The state police, they had to be 6 foot or so. And I remember out in California, there was a certain height for to become a policeman, like 5'7" or so. And there were a lot of Asians out there, and they couldn't reach it because they were all corners short. So this one guy got a hammer or something, started hitting his head, so he got a hickey on his head, and he was able to pass. Little technical thing.
Yeah.
But then the state police had to be 6 foot and all.
Yeah.
So what happened, and I think in my own experience now, but they start making police cars a little smaller, and these big 6-footers couldn't get in the car, and they get in, they couldn't get out, But things change. I'm so happy that I was able to interview the first woman district attorney.
Oh, wow.
And what a job she's doing. Okay, they say, we don't want a woman. We don't want a woman chief. You are a successful chief of police. Okay, now you're a sheriff. Okay, and a sheriff is more of an administration, is making sure that everybody will do the job they're assigned to do.
Right.
And if they don't do it, you got to have that left hook, boom, out.
Right.
All right.
It is administrative. It's a support service, to law enforcement across the county. These sheriffs do amazing things. It's courtroom security, and that means the victims who are in the courtroom. These men are here every day making sure the victims get to court, make sure they're safe in court, getting the prisoners, the judges, which nowadays judges are prime targets for people who are disgruntled,
we've had it. I remember when I was a policeman, I was almost Judge Honeyman or somebody was, but I was a prisoner from Greater Ford, and he went dashing up, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think the new courtroom, they're bulletproof, the panel was in front, and that way they can hide under in case, it happened. But we have to be aware. Just today we pick up the paper where this guy killed a little girl, 9 years of age. I mean, oh my God, But law enforcement, and sheriff's department is really a follow-up. But you can do more than just
they are
doing warrants and stuff. And I think I thought I read something where you were going to try to do assist the community in some way.
Absolutely. And I found out when I was chief, the sheriff was very supportive to the White Marsh Police Department, Plymouth, White Marsh, Conshohocken area, several times. The Sheriff's Department is also the bomb squad. They are part of that Homeland Security, the terrorism task force. their people. They're trained in riot control. They're trained in traffic. They're trained like police officers.
Right.
We use them for security and traffic control. Remember the huge apartment fire in Conshohocken several years ago? John Durant and his staff came down, and I was at White Marsh. White Marsh was right on the border of that.
That's John Durant was a former sheriff.
The former sheriff.
I worked with him as he was a county detective. When I was a county detective, he was sharp.
He was sharp. And the Conshohocken, the fire, and I was there. I was the neighboring chief with Chief Doherty. So I went down to help Chief Doherty with security in Conshohocken. We called John Durant. He brought down some sheriffs, some equipment. They were able to patrol around the security area. They brought the bomb squad in. They assisted us before. The bomb squad, we had incidents where we had suspicious devices. One time at a train station, near a school, the bomb squad comes down, the sheriffs come down. They are a huge support system to the local police departments in critical times. And nowadays we're all facing, facing
they wear the
budget.
uniform.
They wear the uniform. They're brother officers with us. We know that. We share that. They're in the same lodge that we're in with us. They're there. They're next to us.
They're so people are saying, well, I don't know about a girl being a sheriff first time, really. But I remember, and I was a good friend of Mayor Rizzo and Commissioner O'Neill, and there was something new, policewoman, Well, he was a little leery about it. He thought that they should be home and all, but I never forget, he was campaigning to go to Scranton, and he didn't like to fly too much, and he didn't go out flying here and there. I think he went to Italy when they sent the Pope, Saint Newman, John Newman.
Oh, okay.
He went over there, But he was, so what happened, went to Wings Field, and so he's standing there, and a couple of people go, oh, hello, Mayor. Yeah, he's shaking hands, oh, yeah. And finally, the one girl comes over to him, she says, welcome aboard, Mayor, I'm the pilot. He looked at us, what? And next thing you know, he said he got in the car, in the plane, he said, and they flew to Scranton, flew back, and then he says, from that point on, he says, my whole thinking here's a lady that flew that plane, got me home safe, So it takes something, and I'm so happy that, that you have the background of law enforcement, and the fact that the sheriff is law enforcement. Actually, if they look at the thing, the sheriff is a chief law enforcement officer under the district attorney.
Right.
But they don't do it. I mean, out west, different cities, the sheriff is the top guy. So.
Right, and in a lot of counties, a lot of states, they are the law enforcement system.
Yeah.
But we have all our local chiefs, and I've worked with the local chiefs. I'm looking forward to now work with the local chiefs in another way, another fashion, and support them.
Well, here's that. When I left the police department after 24 years, I think I knew everything and knew everybody. But that little advice, and I went over there. Yeah, I know this guy. Yeah, I know this guy. So finally, I would see a guy there, and I'd say to one guy, that guy. I don't think that guy's, something, whatever. Next thing you know, I didn't know that he was related to the guy I was talking to. So if I give you some advice, 90% listening and 10% listening for the first 6 months until you find out who's related to who. Because most of the people that work in the courthouse, not most of them, but a good many of them, are related. And they don't say that this is my brother-in-law, this is my aunt, my husband, or cousin, see? So until you find out who's who, okay? Yeah. Mm-hmm,
good advice, very good advice.
I mean, that's my experience. And look, I worked under Nicholas and Moss and what's his name? About 4 or 5 DAs and judges. Judge Moss and Cirillo and all. Great,
Oh, great.
So we have a good county. You've traveled. You travel around. Isn't Montgomery County one of the top as far as law enforcement, our prisons, and everything else?
It is. It's absolutely. Montgomery County, I believe right now leads the state in accredited police departments, county-wise. If you're going, in fact, Montgomery County Sheriff's Department was the first state accredited sheriff's department.
Are you now? Are you accredited?
The sheriff's department. I did not do it. John Durant and his staff ahead of me. White Marsh is accredited.
Now, what's that mean?
It's a state accreditation. It means that you meet a set of high-level standards and acceptance and protocols. Mm-hmm. Same as a school. Schools want to be accredited.
Right.
There's a team. There's a set of standards set out there by a board of teachers.
Okay.
It's a board of law enforcement from all levels who set these standards and criteria for how you perform, for your policies, how your officers perform, how you carry out your guidelines. And the Sheriff's Department, again, Montgomery County was the first Sheriff's Department to complete that task.
How about that?
Yeah, and at White Marsh, we successfully were able to do it after I became chief. And it takes teamwork to do that.
Right.
You can't do it alone. You need to have support and people in the organizations.
And you have to have that, I don't know if you want to use the word finesse or technique, or anything, to get people to do the things you want them to do, okay, without rebelling, okay?
Right.
And for some reason or other, you know, police is a different occupation than any other occupation, you know, because first thing, we all carry guns, okay? And so you don't want to get in an argument, you know. You go to a meeting, the guys start arguing, and the guys all got guns, you know. But you have you handled White Marsh Police Department, and the whole community came together when you left, you know. When I read the paper, I read the Times Herald, I read the Montgomery Life, you know, and White Marsh paper, you know, and that's something. When some guys just drift away, you know, but just fade away. But you now, you know, just like what you're going through now, some people are saying, well, or criticizing this or criticizing that. That's, you know, just like all rain, snow, thunder, but all sunshine makes deserts. So all this storm and complaining and everything, you're going to have a beautiful garden. You're going to have these people behind you, okay? And that's the most important thing, you know.
Thank you.
So.
Well, you know, we were able, with the officers there, we started community programs. We reached out to the community. I believe you have to. I believe the community needs to know who their law enforcement is, mutual respect.
Right.
We did programs, and I guess, you know, the key term that and the men and women at White Marsh always say, I always said to them, they'll only understand us if we educate them. You know, understanding through education. That was the most important thing that we tried to do there.
Right. What they say, education, training, experience.
Right.
3 things: education, training, experience. Education without training or experience, you do it, you don't know how you did it, or you don't know how to do it, you want to do it, or something like that, you know.
But,
so you have to have the 3, you know. And I think that when you put people, sheriffs out, and they also help the community, help traffic on Main Street, directing traffic. And we work with them. You know, I worked with John as a county detective. I was also with when he was a sheriff. So, what else? What else you going to do? Anything else you got in mind?
I just came from. I'll tell you what. I
tell
went
me where
very
you came
proud.
from.
I just came from.
We
a
just made
luncheon.
this deadline
There
here
we
too.
go. I just came from the Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission, the Montgomery County area. We're giving out awards today, and one of the sergeants at White Marsh Township Police Department.
Oh, yeah, I saw
just
that.
got a community service
White Marsh.
award. White Marsh.
And Plymouth just got an award, a young police officer.
And Sergeant Fran Wheatley was in charge of public community relations when I was there. And Fran Wheatley developed a program. We talked about assisting victims. You know, the victims are so overlooked in the system, the victims of crimes, just totally. Yeah. We talked about, for a while, myself and some of the staff, about creating a program to assist the victims. And Fran Wheatley worked with volunteers from the community, citizens in our community, and college interns. We brought everybody together at the table, and police officers and people from victim services. Right. And they created a program where we have volunteers from the community, residents, come in on their own time, make sure they call victims, make sure they have information, where to get assistance, forms to file for aid. But it was such a collaborative effort of all age ranges, too. Yeah. We had some retired people working with college students, with the police officers, with the clerical staff. And I'm very proud because it came to be and it came together last year as I was still chief. But I credit Fran Wheatley, the clerical staff, the lieutenants in the department was really moving the program forward. And so today the Human Relations Commission was honoring Sergeant Wheatley.
How many? I'm going to ask you some questions now. Like I say, you've just been in there a couple of weeks. And how many on personnel? What do you got?
We have 100 sworn deputies and 40-some cleric. I've only been there 2 days. This is my 3rd day at the Sheriff's Department.
I know. I'm saying it's around about. But I'm saying, how many police officers when you were with
White Marsh? We had 36 police and 9 dispatchers.
That's a lot of police officers.
Yeah, in Montgomery County, 36 is a lot.
Right.
It is a lot.
Approximately how many police cars you have down there?
In White Marsh?
White Marsh.
We had a total of marked and unmarked about 18 cars, but we had specialty cars. We
You
had
motorcycles or anything?
We did. I was able to get motorcycles when I was there
Oh.
with the help of our board of supervisors, and the state senator Vince Hughes was able to get us a grant, so we put motorcycles on the road. We actually put our first two canine on the road last year. We have a drug dog, and
You got that through grants, right?
we got that through.
What other kind of grants you get?
We got 2 dogs. We got a drug dog through the assistance of the
Right.
Attorney General and Risa Furman.
Right.
Then last year through Homeland Security, Montgomery County Public Safety, and PEMA, we got a bomb explosive dog, and the dog is
Right.
now working with the
Right,
bomb
right,
squad.
right. You know what?
Interagency cooperation.
You know what I'm happy about? Because you got somebody that's come into the department that knows how to ask for grants. Because half the time, they're, I don't know how to do grants. There's money out there. There's money out there, and you have the technique to be able to get it.
I sent staff out to be trained, and they embraced it. And now we have officers finding
right,
grants and
right.
coming in with them.
Right.
So, but we were able to get the explosives dog cross-trains with the county bomb squad, so we can go anywhere in the county. The drug dog is cross-trained as patrol, and the dog goes out across the county. And that's what this is about, is law enforcement. We have to share resources.
Right.
And these departments in Montgomery County do. There's joint tactical.
You're
White
there
Marsh
for
is-
emergency backup.
Right.
If the police don't have enough personnel, they get there.
Well,
right?
and White Marsh was part of a 11 jurisdiction tactical. Like that's Mark Smith from Whitpain Township. He commands this, the 11 jurisdiction tactical team that they can go and support the jurisdictions anywhere in the county. So
great.
Everybody works together, and that's what it's about in today's
Well-
day and age. It's teamwork.
Well, and so how long you've been a sheriff now? How many
3
weeks?
days.
3 days? No.
Yes. The governor appointed me 2 weeks ago, but there was paperwork that had to be put through.
Oh.
So this is actually
Well,
my
yeah,
third day.
You're the sheriff now. Okay, I was
am-
right when I said the sheriff. We got a new sheriff in town here.
I am the
Partner.
sheriff. Judge Hudson swore me in Friday afternoon.
What's your favorite song?
My favorite song.
Right. Who's your favorite singer?
My favorite. Actually, now don't laugh. I really like for all time's sake. I always like Frank Sinatra. We listen to Frank Sinatra.
That's my way.
But right now,
And
currently.
now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain.
But in pop
You're not
music-
the final curtain. You
pop
got
music, I have to
got
tell you.
The curtain's going up for you, right?
It's Bruno Mars. I really like this thing. Did you have heard him yet?
How about Elvis?
I like Elvis.
Elvis Presley.
But right now,
Dean Garofalo.
I like when I flip my radio stations. I enjoy country. You know what? I enjoy a broad spectrum of music. I always have.
Right.
I like classical.
Right.
I'll go to the ballet and I'll go to a pop concert. I always have.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm asking questions like this, and I'm saying that, we have the sheriff here who, didn't come from outer space, but she, she has a family. She's good chief of police. She's good administrator, coordinator, whatever you want to say, right? And now she's working, and my tax money is paying her wages, and I'm glad my tax money's going to pay her wages. Okay, I had to throw that in there. Okay.
And you know what?
Now-
We have to remember
And
that.
I didn't know that I was your teacher in the
Is that? And now I am a
community
public.
college.
Doesn't matter if I have that star. I am still a public servant. I work for the taxpayers, and
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
accountable to
right.
the taxpayers.
How about your you had a pretty good juvenile division down in
We
in
did.
White Marsh, right?
Yeah, we did a lot of work with juveniles. It's through the detective. I actually was juvenile officer, and that was when I came into police work. That was
did
one
it-
of my goals, to
right.
be a juvenile officer. So
I remember
got to do that.
Philadelphia. The women were only do juvenile. We're working the juvenile division, and then now they're doing everything.
Then they're
patrol,
they're very interactive in the schools. We have 2 high schools. We have Germantown Academy and PW that sit in White Marsh. So the officers are very interactive with the schools. We have like 5 elementary schools. So we have, on any given day, White Marsh has over 5,000 children in it. And then the county now, you're serving the whole county,
Here's words of wisdom. When in charge, ponder. When in trouble, holler. When in doubt, mumble. No, we don't do that, right?
That's great.
But, a sheriff, I was to Risa Furman, the first district attorney, ladies and gentlemen, and great success. You, former police officer, great success. Now you're going to another field of sheriff. East Norton has the first women chief of police.
Yeah.
And she's coming on my show.
Carol
I
Cates.
got her lined up, you know.
Amazing woman.
And
Amazing.
also, what was it? The Supreme Court Justice, remember? She was his first assistant DA, first woman, first assistant DA. So, you know, hey, got women astronauts, got women bus drivers, you know, got women police officers. And let me say this. If anybody has any doubt about women in power of whatever, the lady doctor, Dr. Jin, my Army doctor, she takes care of me. I've had Army doctors and women doctors. So, you know, the first time I was diagnosed with cancer, and they had to check me out and said I had prostate cancer. So I had to go see Dr. Grafey. You know, she's the radiation. So the doctor said, go to see her about radiation. So I go over and it's okay. Hello, she's a nice lady. She's worked at Montgomery Hospital since the time she got out of college. Beautiful person. She says, oh, Hank, all right, you're a police officer, blah, blah, blah. I got news for you. All right, yeah. I said, you got cancer? I had to do radiation. She says, all right, bend over. Oh, my God. It's a lady. I go, whoa. So don't be afraid. Don't worry about the mule going blind. Get in the wagon, hold the line. Hey, our half hour is over.
Oh, thank you so much.
Listen,
I appreciate it.
Your family, God bless them.
Thank
because,
you.
know, you're going to be bobbing and weaving, phone calls and all that stuff, but they're 100% behind you.
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my husband.
I know.
He's
I'm
supported me.
100% behind you.
Thank
I know
you
your
so much.
department is. I know the county is, and I
Thank
know
you.
all your friends. Okay, so I'm just so happy that you got the job. Okay.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here today.
All right.
Thank you.
Now, so what we do, little toast, and we say, "Hala salud to your health."
Thank you.
I forgot to ask you. Do you like spaghetti and ravioli?
Oh, yes. My
Okay.
grandmother
You're
was.
my friend.
My grandmother taught us
Your
Italian
grandmother?
cook. My grandmother was Italian.
Oh, Madonna, why don't you tell me now?
Didn't ask.
Signore, I'm just go to Italy. I'm going to talk Italian, send it to Italy, okay? See, the grandmother's a paisana. Okay. What part of Italy? Whatever. Sicilian, right?
Orsilia was her maiden name.
Lisa Furman's Sicilian, half Sicilian.
Oh, my
you know.
goodness. Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks a lot for allowing us to come into your home and meet the new sheriff. And until we meet again, keep bobbing and weaving, and may God bless each and every one of you, okay? Hey,
Thank you
adios.
again.
Grazie, grazie. And here's a little token appreciation.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, it's upside down. All right,
Put it in
here
my
is.
new office.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.